Hello! So, this is Easter week and the final week in our Lent series on emotionally healthy spirituality. And so, week 6, we're combining 2 of the final chapters in the book for the preach on the Sunday. So you will have heard about growing into an emotionally mature adult and developing a rule of life. So you've got both of those chapters which you can do in your session this week. Or if you want to, you can spread them out and run after Easter and take a little bit more time over it if you want to. The first of them, growing into an emotionally mature adult, is really about looking back at the series and thinking about perhaps the areas that you've looked at which mean you think you've probably grown in, or you hope you've grown in. And so maybe after Easter, it's a good time to go back to that personal inventory on the website and have another go at it and see if anything's changed. Because we know that as we've done this journey with God, then there will have been change and there will have been growth. So maybe over your Easter holidays would be a good opportunity to have another go at that again. The passage on this week is about the Good Samaritan. And what we're really considering is if we are in a place with God where we are developing ourselves to emotionally mature people, then the outflow of that means that we've got so much more capacity to love and to care for and to be there for other people. And it's a really good measure, isn't it? We know ourselves that if we're grumpy, if something's upset us, and then someone else asks something of us, or we see someone in need, we have so much less capacity, we have so much less patience, we're so much more short-tempered if we're in a bad place. And so that's the case in the bigger picture of life as well. That the more we're able to become emotionally mature adults in our spirituality and in the way we are, then we're going to have so much more love and space for compassion for people. So that's the premise of that one, and there's some good things you can talk about around that. The second half of this is about what's called developing a rule of life, and this is really bringing together all of the contemplative spirituality side with the emotional health. And the discussions that you've had on Sabbath last week, and thinking about putting it all together and, okay, what practices, what disciplines, if you like, can I put into my life that are going to bring all of this together and are going to give me that greater capacity to know God's love and to share it with other people. And so there is in your sheet this week or in your book, there is a bit that you can fill in different areas of life to just reflect on what can I do to nurture my relationship with God in these areas. So one of them, for example, is rest. And that's going to go back to what you thought about with Sabbath. But more than that as well, are you getting enough exercise? Are you getting out in the fresh air? What are the things that you could build into your week to make sure you do that? One of them is prayer. What are you doing with your daily routines of life? How can you make sure that they really nurture you and bring those special times into your daily rhythm or into your weekly rhythm, or maybe a time off in the year, so into your yearly rhythm or things like that. One of them on here is about relationships. What can you do to really nurture godly relationships in your life? And that again might be about planning ahead, maybe special times once a month with your spouse, husband, wife, with your children. Sometimes it's really makes things really special to say we're going to have a date night every month. And we're gonna make sure that we do it. We're gonna calendar it, and we're gonna make sure that there's special times in our relationships with friends as well. Make sure that all of those things are in there, so that you are developing these great relationships that God wants us to have. And then work's on there as well, and it's about what really nurtures you at work. What is it that really excites you and gives you that time at work? That is where you can really see God working through you and in you. And then the opposite to all of this is, are there things that throughout this course, and as you've been reflecting with God, that you probably need to pull away from because they're not helping you develop this nurturing, deeper relationship with God. And so there's an opportunity with this tonight to maybe explore those and talk about those as well. So lots you can talk about, or as I said at the beginning, you can spread it out over future weeks if you want to. And if you've missed any of the weeks previous to this, again, you've got all the materials there now, so do feel free to go back over different things and discuss them as and when you want to. And I hope you have a great Easter. And do let us know. Keep the feedback up about how you found all of this, because if you think it's been a good thing, then we can think about doing it again. Thanks very much.